Hey everyone, I'm going to blow your mind today. We're talking about how to do a month's worth of creative work in 1 hour. I was on the plane, I had some good Wi-Fi, and I jammed with O3 and O4 in ChatGPT, and I made dozens of creative assets. I came up with some amazing use cases for 4.0 image that are going to blow your mind, and I'm going to show you how to use one of these sneaky under the radar features of ChatGPT that you are going to love. Let's get into today's show. All right, so Kieran, you and I have been obsessed with O3. I think I have created more threads on ChatGPT since O3 launched than I have probably even in the last 6 months. I think I've literally made like 50 yesterday. And it's kind of insane. To me, O3 is really smart, but it's also really human, and there's some magic to that.
There is magic.
And I was like, I want to talk to O3 about a really interesting marketing problem. I wanted to say, hey, I love OpenAI's 4.0 model for image generation, but like, what are different ways I could use that for marketing use cases? So I asked it basically to give me 5 creative, non-obvious ways to use OpenAI's 4.0 image generation model for marketing. And can you give me 5 ideas and the prompts for each to try? Ready? And here is basically what it did. Hyper local cultural mashups for less than 10-mile geo-targeted ads. People click faster on ads that make them feel that feel made for their neighborhood. Instead of generic skyline shots, generate up-to-the-minute scenes that merge your brand with overlook local landmarks, slang, and street art, even the weather. It's a good idea, man.
It's too good. Someone stop this model.
Hold on, that's the first one. That's the first one.
While you're talking, you've given me an idea. This is the thing. We're going to get into just like, okay, keep going.
The vibe marketing is about to go out of control. Okay, you're going to love this. Prospect-specific future state visuals for enterprise sales decks. Why that's interesting. Enterprise buyers often struggle to picture life after adoption. Generate a hero slide that literally shows their logo in the future state of success.
Good product marketing with imagery there. Show the dream state.
I did a bunch of these, by the way, so we're going to go through in a minute and look at a bunch of them. What if concept posters for rapid fire positioning tests? Before you spend a bunch of money on doing full video shoots, actually generate movie style posters.
I love that.
And so here, I did this one. Let me show you. Look at this guy. Eliminate bottlenecks.
Very, very
so
cool.
You can instantly just prototype with these different
I like that for the
prompts.
Video. I hadn't thought of that one.
It's a very cool idea for video. Product in historical era TikTok frames. Come on. This is a good one.
Oh, is it? Product for historic era for TikTok frames. Tell me this one.
Yeah, so instead of having a generic video hook, make one of your TikTok hooks or mid-frames in your short form video a product in era. Let me show you what that means. Something like this. So you could basically put the HubSpot product, in our case, in this NASA era historical image, and that is going to be very different than all the other stuff that you're going to see on TikTok, right?
Right.
It's going to be like a really interesting catch.
Oh, so interesting. You were actually touching on the direction I was going when I started to see these, which is because you have the cost of creative goes to near zero, and we talked about this for code. You can use one of one. Everything can just be one of one. And so instead of today where everyone is using these tools that give you templates and everything looks somewhat similar, the difference here is like you can actually have everything one of one and then just throw it away and do something brand new for the next time. So that's your point there is that would stand out because you're not going to see that concept anywhere else. Obviously the idea matters a lot.
But what I think that's the important thing for everybody to understand. For even something like short form video, one of the ways to stick out is going to be very different imagery. But up to this point, it's been really time consuming and expensive to make it and then cut it in. And now you can just make a couple of these images and just cut them in as B-roll, right? Or even use an AI tool to animate them.
Right.
All right, number 5, you're going to like this. Choose your own demo carousel assets. For lead gen ads or email nurturers, create a mini saga. Panel 1 asks a problem question. Panel 2 through 4 branch visually based on the reader's click. I struggle with X, show scene A. The entire carousel can be generated on demand with consistent styles that feels like one coherent comic. Let me do it again live and see how it does. So I just copy and pasted the prompt that it gave me. So we'll one shot the prompt no nothing, and let's see what it does. And by the way, this is first shot, just going off of the historical HubSpot style guide that I have in memory. Remember, OpenAI has its new memory feature. So I didn't upload a style guide or anything to this. I literally
Can we just talk about the memory feature?
This.
Can we just talk about the memory feature for a moment? The memory feature is actually way more incredible than I thought. So I don't know if we've done a show since then, but you and I were talking, you and I were going back and forth because we love Claude projects. We love ChatGPT projects. And I was curious, does this make that defunct? Because if it remembers all context, inclusive of the documents you upload, to do that, I assume it would have to have a dynamic window that calls the correct documents whenever it needs to answer you. But basically, what projects allow you to do is upload a bunch of documentation, and then all chats have context about that documentation. And I was thinking, well, if you have now all of the context across all of your ChatGPT chats, inclusive of the documents you have uploaded, that kind of makes that feature defunct. So it isn't inclusive of docs. It's only all of your chats. But I have noticed all of the answers I'm getting are so much better because it's using that context. And I think it's actually a more impactful feature than I had originally thought.
Oh, it's a game changer. And it's changed how I prompt, Kieran. So in my prompting now, I'll be like, oh, and do this in the way of the HubSpot style guide you've done for me before. Right? So instead of even uploading or anything, I'll just remind it that it has it, as part of my prompt.
Look, marketing moves fast, and with AI, it moves 20 times faster. We're always on our toes, and we need to stay ahead of the curve. We spoke with 5 top marketing experts about the plays they've been betting on this year, and AI was a common thread in nearly all of them. These leaders are seeing major shifts that could impact their strategy right now. And honestly, I agree with them. If you want the full breakdown, you can get it right now. Scan the code or click the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the show.
They're like, why is this so good?
The illustrations are, why is it continuing to use, for all of the stuff you're going to show, uses very similar kind of art style. It's because you've created a brand style guide for
I've created multiple style guides. I did like a V2 of one yesterday. So I've got a couple, like I probably have 20,000 words of style guides in my ChatGPT here. And that's why the HubSpot orange is right. The colors are on brand. The font's right. Look at like everything. It looks really good. Right. And so I literally one-shotted that with no change to the default prompt. But even O3 in making the prompts knew that it was for HubSpot and automatically put HubSpot logo and everything in the prompt. If you go back, Kieran, remember, let me show you. Go back up to the top. What I asked for. I asked for 5 creative and non-obvious ways to use open generated models, the image generated model. Can you give me the ideas and prompts to try each? I didn't say prompts to try each for HubSpot.
Yeah, it remembers the context. That's so cool.
How good is that? Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things. I got some more stuff I want to show you, and then we want to get into the library tool in ChatGPT because I think the library tool is a game changer for marketers. So one of the things you can do once you have it generate a list of ideas for this, I always have it number everything. And I was just like, hey, for number 2, which is like the customer hero, I was like, here, can you make a prompt for ramp.com showcasing HubSpot customer agent? Like I just made up some fictional stuff, right? And to see what it would actually like build and create for that hero image. And I've taken that prompt, that custom prompt, and I put it in here. And what I would tell you as it renders this out, why wouldn't you want this in every enterprise sales deck? What we're seeing get rendered here in ChatGPT is a custom like future state image with the company's logo, with the tool they're using, with the results they're going to get from the product that's going to make that demo, make that sales process feel so much more like custom and relevant and help them understand what things are going to look like in the future.
Well, everything is one of one. This is actually this is the prompt I'm taking here so I can give you some of the suggestions, but I'm trying to figure out what are the best one-of-one use cases that you can do at scale. So one of one means everything can be personalized towards that company. We talked about this in a previous show where like marketing has done segment kind of based marketing where you categorize all these companies in a segment, have similar characteristics, and then personalize for those group of companies. Now you're really personalized at the company level, right? That is like your entire marketing plan is at a company level, not a segment level. And this is a really good example of it.
I love that. Okay, a few more before we get to the library, because I was having so much fun. I just kept asking it for more, so I wanted to see if you thought any of these were really good. A KPI storyboard LinkedIn carousel, so you could have a LinkedIn carousel with core ROI and outcomes for your best customer stories. Thought that was a really good B2B use case here. Predictive risk radar visuals for procurement and securities teams. So make bespoke images to show how you're protecting risk for the risk-averse buyers here. An integration blueprint for IT stakeholders. So it's mapping the whole company and creating custom images in B2B for all of these. A green ledger for CFO and ESG reports. And then a voice of the customer constellation for QBR slides. So some of these are like really good. And then I had it do some for HubSpot. It did an animated GIF where you can put the customer's logo in the HubSpot flywheel, which I thought was pretty clever.
That is pretty clever. Run that one. I've got one running as well, actually. One of these personalized ones.
It also had a vertical specific mini case study poster. So basically show how you win a customer in a given industry so that you could use it with all customers in that given industry. Real-time deal confidence meter badges for RevOps Slack.
God, it's getting very specific.
Boost internal teams is seeing HubSpot AI drive insights. Reps share the badge with prospects. Hey, we're at 82% win confidence thanks to HubSpot scoring. So getting very specific. This was one of my favorite ones, Growth Stack Blueprint, which shows how HubSpot's your growth stack. And then a future headline. So what are going to be the headlines about that customer in the future? So here's, I think, probably the most important part of today's show. We just got our minds blown by O3. I think those were some of amazing uses of O4 image generation in ChatGPT that I've ever seen. And I don't know that I would have thought of half of those. Would you?
No, I think this is the difference. I would say what is one of the core differences I've seen in O3? It can do all of the creative strategic work and then the execution work, which is pretty mind-blowing. Like it's actually coming up with incredible ideas now. It's not coming up with the average baseline idea, right? Like AI for some time have been aggregating all the ideas together and giving you the most kind of average best practice. If you actually really work with it, it's coming up with very unique, specific ideas that are contextual to your needs. That is one of the biggest changes that I've seen, which is like has been really fun to play with it because of that.
I completely agree with you. The other thing, though, I will tell you, once you use O3 and you get all these ideas, you want to make batch images. You want to make different variations of those images. And if you just go into ChatGPT and click the new chat button, it only creates one image at a time for you, right? And what's really amazing is a couple weeks ago, OpenAI released its library feature. And so now you can have a library of all of the images you've made in one place in ChatGPT. So you can see all of the images that I've made in the last day, iterating on these different prompts. Pretty wild, right? Like some of these are pretty good, I gotta say.
Some
like,
of them are really good. Some of them are really good.
Like this is pretty good.
This feature is, let's like call a spade here. They're going to release a design studio.
Yeah,
this library is basically it, right? Like,
anyone who's built I just picked this, and I could edit the image in text right here from a carousel.
Yeah. Can you ask it to create? Let me try something out. Can you click on one of those images? Can you ask it to create 3 variations? What does it do? These are so good. I mean, these are scarily good. Are these all like one day of going back and forth with the prompting? Yeah, that's. Be afraid, be very afraid. This is what I mean. Like you've basically done the.
So like, here, I'll show you the whole thread while it's generating that.
Just basically put into how many hours pre AI do you think a creative team spends on doing those ads?
Be honest. Would have been weeks. This would have been weeks worth of work. What I did last night.
Right?
Don't you think?
I think so.
I think it's weeks.
And you do it. Now we do it on
a really great team. If this was the only thing they're focused on, maybe days.
Yeah. But not
right?
an hour, right? Not an hour.
No,
on a
not an
plane.
hour. So if you'll see where I started with this, I had it make a campaign brief for customer agents. So like I said before, I've made HubSpot creative styles that are saved in my ChatGPT. Now I'm having it write very specific briefs for different features. And so our customer agent is a really important feature. And so in a separate thread, I had O3 Deep Research go make an entire creative brief on customer agent, it's value props, messaging, everything. And so I put that in and I got these images. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I think what you and I do is we don't just deep research. We deep research into an output, and we showed that last week in our prompting video. So you should go back and watch us do that. We did a pretty good example of it into a YouTube video.
Yeah. And so that's exactly what this is. This is a deep research into a creative brief prompt. So deep research, make the creative brief, turn the creative brief into a prompt. And so that allows you to get this, which is a really good one-shot response, right? Like
what
pretty
with
insanely good.
With no edits. It's insanely good.
No edits, insanely good. And so I had some copy changes, and then I was like, can you give me 2 additional versions? Because remember, in the regular 4.0, you can't generate multiple images, and it still had an image here. And so I finally was like, I need multiple ad concepts. Please make 3 and number them. And so it created these 3 and numbered them so that then I was like, I don't like any of these. Make 3 others without robots. So I got 3 more. Like, look at how fast I'm iterating on this, right? This is like minutes of creative iteration. 3 more that don't use robots. And then using the style of number 3, let's set up a full campaign. And so it creates a full amazing image, actually. Like, this is probably my favorite one, but it didn't do the whole campaign. And so now, finally, after some iteration, I got display ads, I've got banners, I've got demo CTAs. I got a bunch of different assets. Pretty wild. And it brought back that. And so when I said, hey, can you create 3 variations of this image, which I did over in library, it brought me back to this thread. And it still didn't create the 3 variations. I think it's still not great. What it will not do is render 3 different blocks of images. It will do the images in one images. So create 3 variations and number each. So it's still a little buggy, right? It's still like sometimes you're rendering over and over again because you're not getting what you want. It's still not quite there, but again, we're using a lot of this for prototyping or getting lightweight campaign assets out. Like it's plenty good for that, but it's what I was talking about is like if you're doing like a one-shot billboard, you're not going to be able to do it quite yet in this.
Right. It's still I think prototyping is the best use of it right now. Although I still think these ads that you have done, the average business, their average business can use all these ads. I don't think you need many ads.
I would literally run some of these for Hub.
We should run some of them. Why don't we just run some of them and see how they perform? Like you can just test them. That would be a pretty cool test to come back and give people the data.
Yeah, it's kind of like a generalist versus specialist test.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Can you vibe market your way to as good or better results, basically?
Yeah. Can you actually?
That'd be a cool test. We should do that.
we should run that test.
Still didn't give me my 3 images, but it's giving me really good creative.
Yeah.
Right? Like I actually think this is better in some ways.
Oh,
like,
it's contrast. The contrast is really good.
The contrast is better on this.
Contrast is really good.
So let's go back a smidge. So if you go back to library, there's so much you can do from this one pane, right? And you can do basic image editing. You can have it generate different revs for you. And it shows you, like you can just see here, like if you have a style guide uploaded in your ChatGPT, the level of consistency that you can keep one-shotting, even if like just from like a style and color standpoint, is pretty remarkable.
This whole library, like, just looks like a creative library that a team have worked really diligently on. Like, I think some of these ads this is really good. I love like, the before and after concept. What did it pick up something in the deep research where it decided that this kind of before and after style was really good, or did you just tell it to do that?
No, it picked it up itself.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And if it goes back to here's some of my other things. So like this is how it visualized like the HubSpot product suite for one of the prompts if you're using for customers. it gave us a bunch of gave me a bunch of revs on different value props for our customer platform, which is wild, right? Like, these are really good. I mean,
All right, I
don't know what else to say. You got our ad created? Oh, I want to see it.
It's pretty weird.
It's pretty. Oh no.
I don't think I did it right, but that's it's I remixed. I don't think I was going to choose remix. I don't know why I did that. Let me just figure it out. I've not played with. I have to admit, I have not actually played with Sora that much.
Yeah, I'm most behind in video. Whoa,
that's kind
of. It did not do a good job.
No, we are still some way off. Actually, being able to have what the kind of transition here is all right. Like the first transition's not. I don't know what's meant to be transitioned into, but that's like pretty. Pick your path.
That's terrible, right there.
Yeah. The rest.
Here's what we need to understand.
Oh God,
Kieran, Sora is Dolly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sora is Dolly.
I've said that. That's where we are with video.
Yeah, Dolly was OpenAI's first image generation model. It wasn't very good.
It was all garbled.
And it didn't have enough GPUs behind it. And Sora is not going to be that good because it doesn't have enough GPUs and the right model behind it yet. And probably, quite frankly, isn't going to get it for a while because all of those GPUs are going to image generation. Because so many people are like me. How much money do you think I cost OpenAI in the last 24 hours?
It's costing them millions. They have it. They have it to spare, but so we're fine.
They have
just
they've definitely lost money on me as a customer. I will say, controversially,
you're a loss leader.
I do pay $200 a month personally for the pro version, which is like unlimited O3 and image generation and everything. It's totally worth it now. Now with O3, because without Pro, Kieran, and just Plus, you only get 50 conversations with O3 a month.
Yeah, I think on the O3 we should do a.
I did 50 in the last 24 hours.
We're going to do a whole episode with some O3 prompts on how you can automate your entire marketing department, because it is a noticeable step up. And the actual wild thing is the models coming in May are meant to be better. So I think it's all
upside, baby.
It's like the amount of upside this year from these models is going to be outrageous.
So here's a few things that I would take away from our show today, right, Kieran? One, O3 is a really great marketing assistant. And sometimes if you just want some creative inspiration, you should ask it for ideas. It's really good. Especially on a feature that might be new or something you haven't used much. Just be like, hey, this is my business. Give it some information about your business, or better yet, have it do a deep research around your business, and then have it give you some ideas, right?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Like the one thing that it's really good at is it's a really great thought partner, a creative thought partner, and a strategic thought partner. But the more context you give it, the far better the results. And I think one of the things you give it was a deep research style guide, and then all of the context and style palettes from HubSpot.
So you got to do that. Then you also have to, when you ask it for the ideas, ask it for the prompts. O3 is a great prompt writer. So anytime you're interacting with O3, Kieran, I've just been getting in the habit of just asking it for prompts as part of the output, right? Do you agree with that?
I love that. Yeah. I think, look, all these prompts, you can still improve and tweak, but it's a great way to, again, get a first draft of something.
I couldn't agree. And then finally, use the library feature in ChatGPT. It is a game changer for quick edits of your images, to see a visual display of everything you've generated and go back to those threads if you need to iterate on any of those. And if you go to create image from the library tab, it more easily will generate multiple image variation and like better assets. I have definitely noticed, and even O3 instructed me to do that and said that it would generate better output if you initiate your 4.0 requests from the library app.
Yeah, the library app is brand new. I had not seen that, and I've been in the image tool.
It's a game changer. Okay, so the library app, I think, Kieran, is probably the most under the radar important feature that ChatGPT has added in the last year. Wouldn't you agree?
The library feature or the image
that's
tool?
Under the radar that nobody's talking about it.
I think the library feature, yeah, I did not even hear. I had not heard of that one. I think the memory feature maybe is underappreciated as well. It got a lot of, it actually did, like, people do understand that it's valuable, but I kept thinking the context across all documentation was much more valuable, but actually context across all chats is awesome. Super awesome.
It's incredible, right?
And you know what the hard thing is? You're just constantly like, it's hard to. I'm playing around with like prompts now based upon things that you were showing me. It's really hard to like even focus because there's just so much you can do. It's just like like I'm like here trying to like craft a perfect prompt now for the most personalized set of creative tactics you can do.
Yeah.
It's just one idea built upon the other so fast. Like you can just go so fast through these things.
Well, yeah, I don't know if this is going to make the show or not, but this is the classic example of why people afraid of AI are wrong. Like the level of consumption, the more you learn, is crazy. The more I learn about AI, the more I want to use it, right? Like we were sitting through this whole show, Kieran, and you know what I just did? I went to the GPTs to make sure that I couldn't create an image generator GPT, and I can't yet, and I'm bummed. I'm like, I've done all this work. I'd like to consolidate this into a GPT that could just one-shot a bunch of awesome ads based on a product. Like, I give it a product brief and have it one-shot me ads.
Right. Just you could just create a bunch of pre-styles. That's just like your whole creative team then in GPTs. Yeah.
So it's like, I need 4.0 image to come to GPTs now. And it's like, nobody is thinking that yet. But the more you use this stuff, the more you want like the
more
next
stuff.
way to do it better.
You want I definitely want the API. But I know they're not going to give out the API en masse anytime soon because they'll melt their servers. But
I definitely melt their servers.
When that comes, lots of different tools are going to get an instant upgrade.
I couldn't agree more. All right. Anything else before we close out today's show?
No, I think we've given people a ton of ideas, how you can go use these models to get creative ideas, how you can use these models to get prompts, how you can use these models to go from deep research into output, and how you can use these models to do pretty great creative. And then you have a library where you have an entire design studio to go do killer variations.
Totally agree. All right. This has been fun. We're going to keep coming back to you with more O3 prompts in some coming episodes and how to use O3 for marketing. This was the first one. We'll see you real soon on Marketing Against the Grain.
This data is wrong every freaking time.
Have you heard of HubSpot? HubSpot is a CRM platform where everything is fully integrated.
Whoa, I can see the client's whole history, calls, support tickets, emails, and here's a task from 3 days ago I totally missed.
HubSpot. Grow better.